Okay.
Yep, you all set?
Oh, where's coming?
No, those are set up for
That's
Wednesday.
just for the process. I think. You're always in a rush. Thank you, but yeah, short for very much. No.
Oh. You deserved it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just waiting for Lloyd.
Yeah, wait, let's just see if anybody will let in.
We are recording now, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm just holding off because Lloyd is
Few apps. Nancy Cordy's entered waiting room. Admit. Yeah, she just.
going on.
Yeah, she's in. She just came in.
This may go quickly.
I just tried to wave to Nancy. Nancy, hi, Nancy. I can't hear her though.
Okay, how about that?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. Hi, everybody.
Hi, can you hear us?
Huh? Yeah, I can hear you. Not well.
Oh, you let me. That's what, who's on.
You turn me up too.
Mark, and I just checked these, they're over. Mark, listen, I know. Now we're looking. Very good.
You're warbly.
Is it working now?
Behind me.
Am I the only one on?
It would appear.
Oh.
Hey, someone else just
Okay.
have iPad. Whoever that is.
Oh, that's terrible.
Oh, is that Fortin? Cap iPad? Yeah.
Carol. She's on mute. Tell her we can see the top of her head. There she is.
There we go. She doesn't. She doesn't want us to see the party going on at the house, probably, right? Down in Florida. What's up, Fortin?
You look
She's
awful
smiling.
bunched up there, Carol. Is it cold
She's
down there?
smiling. Thank God marijuana is legal in Florida, right?
Yeah.
It's like you need to stop it.
And it was all working. 0 cents.
Please.
That was what.
What happened? Balance out.
Okay. Okay, we'll get started with the meeting. Hopefully the others will show up. All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome. We're going to start the meeting by approving the minutes for April 19th, 2022. We have not had a chance to do it before. Can I get a motion to accept these? I make a motion that we accept. That's supposed to. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now we go on to,
Can you ladies hear? Can you ladies hear on the Zoom? Okay, sorry, go ahead.
yes,
Just want to make sure.
now we go on to January 17th, 2023. And I got a motion.
I never,
Okay,
I think that we have to be listening for voters or community members and not citizens, because presently we've got operating that talks about voters or taxes and don't talk about residents. And I just think, you know, what are we talking about? Community, I'm thinking about community members, district voters, but residents is not the format of the present chart.
can you point to me?
Sure. Just like, second sentence, community members, voters, district voters, whatever you want to say, because, it's more than just residents who are residents, voters, that's all. And the same, so the second sentence said, two district voters.
So you know what I'll do? I think that
two days.
I'll just change the word, replace, find and replace. And then I'll change the word resident to district voters.
Sure. And that would be.
For now, that will be fine. Okay, so that will go back, so wherever you saw that. Right?
Can we agree once that's changed now, or no, do we have to wait till next?
Wait to do all of the changes.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
All right. Anything else, Faith? You
No.
No, that's it. Zoning, help us out here.
It's George, I think it's George money.
Okay. All right, so with that change in mind, okay, can I get a motion to accept the minutes as the
A second,
and
I'll second. Yeah.
second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay. All right, so we're done with that. Now, I guess I should have done this before, review procedure, during participation. I wanted to make sure that we got this out of the way, so that we could go with the harbor ordinance. Right, so at this meeting, our task is to discuss and approve the changes to the harbor ordinance number 10. Does everybody have a copy of that? John, is on the website. We had actually done last year. Carol and Kate will recall this, I hope, right? Right. We had it done, but it had never gotten approved by the council. And the voters asked to be heard as it relates to any of these changes. So
And our meeting with the council. Yes.
well, they asked that at the last council meeting. That's it. Okay, so Mark met with everyone and has to meet with the voters. So Mark, can you
Sure.
give us an overview just on the ordinance 10 for now?
Yep, I want to just get one other document.
Okay. We wanted to make sure that we gave the voters every opportunity to review these and come up with any kind of changes they want.
Carolyn, so I'm sorry to be it, but I've heard from some of our constituents in the harbor recently. And they were asking, I know it's been a while since they've, there's been a lot of stuff going on anyway with the, voting and stuff. They were, asking if we can just delay any affirmative like vote or putting something in stone
Well,
for now.
we're not doing that tonight. We are just going over it and looking at their recommendations and what changes they want.
Okay, they just,
To the council on Wednesday night,
sure,
either put these in place or delay them yet another time.
okay.
We've already delayed these, by the way.
Yeah, no, I understand, but they were just asking because, they'll be coming soon, whatever and stuff, yeah,
But Mark,
okay.
So,
it's up to his.
Sure.
Let him go.
So we haven't had any formal meetings. I've met individually with friends. Get feedback from them, not to make any policies, but to understand where the lines on where we were in August, on board, our master situation. For the council, also, Bylaws committee, don't know if you know this, harbor master.
Yeah, I know.
And as the reason for that is I wanted to understand what the problem was, or if it was a problem, or could to what I have communicated with Steve,
I can't talk to you.
Louis, what with Mike. Is it,
Excuse me, Mark, you got to talk in the mic or something. She can't hear you.
so
I unmuted Nancy,
I've met
but-
with, like,
Thank
Caroline,
you.
Huey, I've met with Joe Thomas.
Showtime.
Obviously, I've met some other Harvard people that shout to me. So what I worked with on them, was where the sticking points are. What is the issue? So they came with suggestions in terms of this isn't bylaws, the application processes, many different forms. And they had some recommendations as to get clarification on. I did look at all of those. I have, because they're not bylaws. These are going to be kind of council as well. These, I, working with Linda, basically have instituted all of recommendations. And they're minor things, they're clarifications on the lots. Perfect example is, one, just clarify on the lots. It's gonna be a combination lot. It's not gonna be two lots. It's not gonna be lot twice. So that's a perfect example of a change that they recommended, but I think it's a great idea. In fact, I think it's a combination, that's some. It works a lot better, no one. And the black gets somehow the code gets, overused by people, supposed to use it, change it. So it makes a lot of sense. Another perfect example on that, one of the Blackstone point, we now have a set date as opposed to a floating date. Well, so those are the types of things. So we've had modifications to all of the different applications across the board. But again, mostly administrative and clarifying some things. And also adhering to one of the things that's very interesting on itself. It's dealing with
Or launch and what capacity.
this. There's a perfect example here where mooring rules and regulations. Previously stated, provide a copy of current state of principal boat registration. State of principal boat, per Coast Guard 33 FCFR 173.15. Provide a copy of the current mooring inspection, but it also speaks of, it has to be in the state of Rhode Island. That's incorrect. It has to be with its boat before or street. So we do have an individual that Florida brings his boat up here. Last year was not even tomorrow was a boat state of Rhode Island registered. Well, when you look at, go down and actually look at the Coast Guard regulation, doesn't state, state. It states state of principal operations. It's a state in whose waters a vessel is or will operate most during the time. So similar to a car registration. flower back here, as long as it's in the state that's supposed to be, they have the right to be able to mow it. So those are the types of things. Pretty straightforward. Now, we did go back, to take another bite at the apple. And I do have a report, and I don't want to go too much in detail because I believe it's on the agenda for tomorrow to discuss, and other council members have seen it, sent it. So we have basically three segments. That's what we're down to. We're down to 3-year morning inspection. And I have a full explanation of to my findings and recommendation. Number 2 is moorings that go underutilized for more than a year, or unutilized, under or unutilized, one of the other. And both voters would like to see boats under 14 feet. I'm only aware of a couple of boats that I can follow. Those are the 3 statements.
And I really, on that last one, we did this last year.
Right.
We grandfathered in those that currently had it,
Under
so
14.
there were under 14, so I'm not sure why that would be a stick.
Well,
Is
again,
it now going to be 16? Is that what it was?
14,
14, no, 14, your grandfather. But the new
smaller
one-
than 14.
Under 14, Greg.
Wow, which I think is a fair request. I don't, it's going to be open. Council. I don't foresee that as an issue. But so the stick, so we have 2 stickers, which I think everybody's familiar with it. And hopefully discuss. It has to do with the 3-year morning inspection. And also specific with the mornings and what policy and reassignment.
What is under? What is it?
Which basically means more than a year.
Oh,
And it's gonna be utilized for boats registered. It can't be a random boat. Somebody who's going to register is an 8-foot grade white and has a 40-plus oiler. Well, yeah, it's utilized as a boat out there. That boat is registered for that mooring. That's the same as the mooring.
Is that definition of underutilized? I'm sorry, interrupt. Is that definition of underutilized written down in the ordinances or the whatever? Because you said it's like basically a year or something like that. Is there a
I don't have that.
definition?
I'm
Maybe we should-
I did speak with the harbor master and Mary Anson.
Yeah.
Several times, in the last month. They have a similar issue.
Uh-huh.
And they basically have the same policy. If it isn't mooring, the mooring is
Sure.
given back.
Carolyn, you know where I'm going. Maybe we should mention a year.
I'm
Maybe,
sorry.
you know where I'm going. Maybe we should mention a year, like document that or whatever to avoid any problems. Yeah, okay.
Look at it.
So,
Sure.
but I think what I don't wanna have, what I don't wanna have lost there is, the purpose of that is for the more use. However, even in the town of Narragansett, with their ordinances, that's the owner of that mooring is the mooring holder. That mooring is their property, it's their possession. So if they aren't using it, or if the mooring isn't inspected, or if it's out of inspection, I'm gonna have limited recourse, yet somebody will. Talk to the town of Narragansett
what
about,
do they,
I don't have the ability to break this ordinance, they have an ordinance, so they can write it.
well, I think we're fine. Just take it.
That I will be discussing that with council, because I've already had that. Not me
What do
personally,
they have, 5 on the house?
I don't know how many, I know they have moorings, all right, they have moorings across the river, my house on the southeast side of our river, there's 6 moorings across the river.
So I'm sure it would be very similar. We see it.
Yes, yep. Right.
And see the problem.
Right.
Narragansett Power.
Right, what we don't wanna have is power masters and then enforcing the ordinances. They don't wanna communicate management, but we certainly could, I certainly could make a call to the harbor master. He could ticket individual mooring or the new. He said, in fact, in the past, there's been boats tied to the dock for the right ticket, so. But that isn't a far-fetched,
So
suggestion.
I guess, Steve, I'm concerned about some constituents. What are your?
But you know, the previous harbor master, you know, they were not as happy as, you know, but that's, yeah, that's what, yeah. One of the things would be like in a perfect world, just, and I think it'd be cleaner instead of, you know, just making changes. They'd like to go back to square one and whatever, you know, like the prior harbor master proposed and stuff, all that stuff, just kind of reverse that and just start fresh, you know, where we were before and maybe, you know, adjust from there. I don't know. Well, we haven't put in force any of what he proposed, right? It's still,
That you propose, so we
Yeah.
are at square one.
well, okay, good. Okay, that's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we are at square one.
So,
Experts on the harbor.
So I would not, I am, so from a legal, are you a judge at both lawyer or? So I'm gonna get into the minutiae. Because, and the people in the audience as well, on Zoom, I spent the majority of my month. And I have a 4-page memo on my findings and my recommendations. The interesting thing about the Narragansett Harbor Management Plan, it has appendix 3, which is called the Harbor, called the Pond Shores. Pond Shores is actually called out. So I'll make this very,
And then
very
you're-
Narragansett, within Narragansett Harbor Management. Now, there's been other discussions from other individuals that have told me, well, CMC oversees this, the Coast Guard oversees this. Well, I've spoken to CMC, I've spoken multiple times with the harbor master. CMC made it very, very clear. CMC stated that they work in unison with the towns. And they, in collaboration, sign off on the management plan, leading enforcement to the town. They do not enforce.
So you're telling us that they, and I love legal issues, but I'm asking you, you're telling us that there's a master harbor specific as like.
Appendix 3, and I want to read the first sentence. The 5 districts harbor management shall remain separate from the town of Narragansett administratively. However, it contains as an element of the town's overall harbor management plan. Bonnet Shores Fire District was incorporated, blah, 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 blah. So then it comes down. They make, after they state right here, from a legal issue, we shall remain separate from the town of Narragansett administratively. They do come down to the same paragraph, state, many of the general recommendations in the harbor management plan, they also apply to fire. They state that, with the exception of any specific issues and areas as noted. Issues, goals, and recommendations are addressed in this chapter. Concern only those water-related matters which are unique to the Bonnet Shores area, adjacent coastal waters within its jurisdiction. So with the basic, how I'm interpreting this, it's a lake court. They're saying, yes, you have a separate, you are blame free of the plan. However, it's highly recommended that other than the waterways, you need to adhere.
Yeah, it does say they also. So it's not a shell. Just point that out, and I don't know when.
I just tell you, it was planned, it was, 1998.
We have our own harbor managers.
Yeah, okay, which,
It mirrors this great prayer. So we would be bound by that.
when you are,
The 2020. It's on the website.
yeah, I've seen it.
So, all right, so I think what we're coming down to tonight is that since there's no voters here to tell us, which is what they were asked to do, and
I've
the
reached out
council
to
said,
They were aware.
they are, well, they've been more than made aware. Right,
I sent an email to all of the harbor holders.
and it was in an e-blast.
So,
Everybody knows,
You know, like, some of the,
well, we have some,
but I do have, you say there are two statements for the, votes, and one of them is the, 3-year inspection. Is the 3-year inspection on the areas?
yes, on page 44. I have another section.
and it's on page 7 of our.
So right now, we're looking pretty much at the grandfather. In summary, we're looking at the grandfather of the less than 14 foot and then the Rhode Island registrations, right? The registration between wherever they have the boat mostly.
That's
Yeah.
my,
Yeah.
that wasn't in the bylaws, that was.
Oh, okay.
And was calling out a specific Coast Guard rule and regulation that I believe, in my layman's term, has been observed.
I mean, I guess, what I'm a little troubled by is, I remember being at some voting things, and they came in, once I went to the budget. I said, gee, all these people at the budget, it's really the owners that come to talk about their issues. So I ended up sitting with the whole meeting. They seem to be concerned something about, maintaining their own moorings.
Yes,
Not having.
that's the more, that's a
That's
creature.
the.
So, in the, on page 44 of the Narragansett Harbor Manual, there's one sentence that calls out that mooring holders will be responsible. Here it is right here. The following of my findings after talking to the town CMC. 3-year mooring inspections mandated enforced by the town, not CMC or the USCG Coast Guard. Each town has a harbor manual CMC approved. Below is Narragansett mooring specification 44 plan. D. The harbor master keep a written record of every mooring that has been inspected in preceding 3 years. Non-compliance with this mooring standard shall be aware of any swivels, shackle, or chain length. Be as much as 1/4. It says failure to meet these requirements may cause the harbor master to order removal of the owner's expense from the mooring space.
Again, it just sounds like the Narragansett plan is just suggestive, just, okay, hey, you should do this. I'm sorry?
It's a May, it's permissive.
May. Yeah, that's a big word. Yeah.
And, harbor. Every 3 years, the moorings are required.
When did, how come the voters not know about this?
They do know,
They do know that.
and for the most part, most of them
So-
have it done, and they follow the regulations. We have a couple who don't want to do that.
I would say I've been on the job system, and I'm very proud of the fact that up to this point, I've done my job. But, there's certain things that as the district manager, I have to take ownership for. And, the way this is worded, I can tell you my interpretation is prior to last harbor meeting. And I think the harbor meeting before this was fine, good job. Did exactly what asked of him, no complaints at all. I just think that the council and harbor, at that time, I think they had a hard committee, they literally took, that first sentence, that this would, the harbor management plan shall remain separate. And then,
And they implemented their own. But their ours, in a sense, mirrors the plan.
and so just so that I'm clear with the voters, for Saturday's sake and, just to be clear, I'm just looking, we're not gonna bring a harbor minister on, so, we're not bringing somebody in and putting, throwing he or she by saying. I just need to get clarification as to, from the bylaw committee to the council, what is it that we want, how is it, and what is it? And
So I guess what I'm concerned about, further spoken to some of your constituents, they're not happy.
Yeah, I don't know if happy. I think they want to get everybody together, it sounds like, and they just want to go over it, I think, so,
Appreciate that. And I think that should happen,
yeah,
but they've been given the opportunity to do that.
yeah.
How long do we extend?
Sure,
this?
sure. Well, I tell you what, I'll put on my grumpy hat and I'll just say, hey, let's get moving on it and just get together and stuff and, yeah, but I just,
Not as though we haven't thought about it.
Yeah.
right, right.
but that,
Real concern here is, I'm sorry, hold on. That's a good point. I don't want anyone that they can have.
Yeah, and we'll give them, we're gonna give them the voice. Yeah, we'll give them.
If they have it,
so that, and they,
if they don't take advantage of it, what do you suppose?
Well, my concern is talking. Saying that they're not, they have, that's all. I'd love to.
well, I just want to show you some of the changes.
You can look at them on.
Yeah,
Look easier to look at.
So I'll give you the.
Yeah, I can look at it.
Yeah, let's take this offline. Can we? Or no?
Yeah, let's move this along. Okay,
Thanks, Mark.
what is our recommendation then to the council tomorrow night, on Wednesday night?
I think we just kind of put it on the burner and try to get them to have a meeting before the next council meeting. What do you think? Or the next bylaw meeting in March? We'd try to do, I understand what you're going. Yeah, and it's been, they've had time, but
Conversation.
Yeah.
So I guess what I'm saying is, when do you say, okay, the conversation is over?
right,
We've listened to you. It's not that
Right.
we're not listening. Everybody's
Yeah.
listening. We have two problems. Two problems. One is the waiting list and how it's managed.
Mhm.
And the other is the mooring inspection. Those are the only things that they're not.
Well, I'm interested in that. You know, the waiting list. How is the waiting list?
So,
Well, not self.
so you, again, you saw first game like.
Yeah.
There's 40 people on that waiting list, all right? There's 40 voters on the waiting list. I have verified 32 of those 40 individuals want to remain on the waiting. So that is etched in stone. The other thing is, as we have a sign, I have a sign since I've been here, I believe 5 corners. People on the waiting list don't have votes. It's not like they got a vote. So that's a separate 1 year issue. They have a year to get a vote. Right, but, then you've got to get, the other issue is, which is a slippery slope, even the harbor master has issues. That mooring that is owned by someone has to be moved or signed over to the mooring. We don't get involved. Harbor doesn't. District doesn't. I try to broker it. and I
Yeah,
do.
I know, like sometimes like, walk,
All right, so
Excuse me. Sorry, Carol. Nancy Cordy has a question. Hold on, Nancy. Let me unmute you. Hold on. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Couple of things. First of all, I can only hear every other syllable of Faith. It's so I can't, that's why I think I have questions. And I can hear Carolyn fine. I can hear Steve fine. Mark, you're in and out, but you were getting better toward the end there. So Steve, my question to you is, who are you referring to when you say that they need to get together and you're going to be the bad guy? Are you talking about the people who own the boats?
Yeah, no, people, that harbor group,
The harbor group that own that have boats on moorings, correct?
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a lot of guys that do
So-
a lot of the work,
Trying to get them all together is going to be
Yeah.
very difficult. I agree with Carolyn. We've given them a lot of time. One meeting that I know of, a couple of them showed up and were very vocal about their wants, and which is good. But we can't keep dragging this out. If it's true that there are only two real stickler problems here, waiting list and mooring inspection, then we should give them a deadline, a very early deadline soon, and just say, put it in writing, come to a meeting, and they, a few of them shouldn't really be speaking for everybody who has a mooring. So it has to really become a council decision with input from people who care to get involved. To be honest with you, when we were having people come to those meetings, they were always talking about 2 harbor masters ago. I can't think of his name at the moment. Yeah. And they were his voice, but yet he was never there to chime in. So I do think we've given them a lot of time. We do want to hear, but we can't keep prolonging it, or it sounds like now they want to just put it off until it's the season again. And I think we have to be proactive and get it all done before the season.
Well, Nancy, I tell you what, I'm gonna try to round up those guys and see if we can get a meeting set up or whatever, and I'll try to push it. Okay, this way, because
Yeah, it should have happened already.
Yeah, yeah.
But, they're not at these meetings where we can hear them. They don't come. I don't know if they come to the council meetings, but
Let me also.
shouldn't be a big deal.
Okay.
Let me help you. Can you hear me?
No, it's like every other syllable. Yeah, that's better.
Okay, we have 67 moorings. We have 34 mooring holders in good standing. They've done their specification. They are either in the first, second, or third year of the mooring inspections. So and of those moorings that are inspected, we've got another 5 moorings that are new mooring holders. And we got probably another 5 moorings with no boats assigned. So, I mean, one of the things that we've got to figure out is how do we implement this? Do we do it where we just sign a waiver, and we pass on the mooring inspections, to trust that they're doing self-inspections? I will tell you, there's no other towns. I will also say, I've spoken to the harbor master in Jamestown, North Kingston, Narragansett, and I did not talk to the South Kingston harbor master, but I did their planning. And they all have mandatory 3-year inspections. And they have specific mooring inspecting companies that they have, 3 of which are now posted. Site, they have the same 3 client websites that are on here. So we do have individuals, adhering to the.
I'm sorry, Carolyn. Nancy, are you all set? Do you have any more questions? Nancy?
No, and
Okay.
Mark, thank you for all the work you've done. And I mean, just the fact that you've reached out to so many multiple harbor masters and how people are doing it around, and the town of Narragansett. just seems to me that this shouldn't be so difficult, but thank you.
And I'll try to get guys together and bring Mark in if he wants, but this is, we can do this
Also,
offline.
For the record, can you also, I met also with, Pleasant Street Marina. And Pleasant Street Marina has approximately 28 of the 35 homes that are respected.
All right.
I will just interject one more thing. If Mark is doing, spearheading all of this and has taken over looking into all of this, I think it would be absolutely, what's the word I want to say? I think he should definitely meet with this group that you're talking about, Steve.
Yep, I agree.
Thank
We
you.
can do all this offline, whatever. We don't, yeah, we can next point or whatever. We can, sorry, I don't mean,
I'll put that into my part-time.
So I think what we'll do tomorrow night
easy.
is to indicate that all of the conversations Mark has had with voters have resulted in only 2 issues, and that the majority of the voters are already complying with those.
But that's my interpretation.
All right,
Talking to
based
a
on what
couple
you-
of
that's
them.
what- that Steve will set up a meeting within the next 2 weeks.
Let's see what, yep, let me
And
see.
that's the last chance meeting. You can set it up in person, you can set it up on Zoom. And that will be our recommendation to the council tomorrow night.
Yep.
Does that sound fair?
Wednesday, right? No, today's Monday, right? Today's Monday. Yeah.
You know what I mean. At the council. That is.
I'm retired too. I get my days mixed up, so.
Okay, so I think we need to move on here. So Mark, if you want to go home, please do. We're gonna leave everything in place here, for Wednesday night. All right, thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
Okay, at our last meeting. And one of the things I wanted to accomplish, so it's part of it. And that is that the changes we made are going to be posted immediately on to the. I've sent out an email to Linda and Carol asking for their thoughts about how that was happening. What I was concerned about was that I don't want anybody to think that these are final. I want them to understand that these are all draft suggestions that we may go back again and again on, but at least you know where we're going. And I'm not sure how to communicate that to everybody, so that we don't have people getting all in a tizzy.
Do you think we write draft?
Well, you can write draft all you want, and have to read it.
Yes.
Okay, I mean, it's, yes, okay, but I was asking for both Carol and Linda to see if they could come up with some kind of banner, I'll call it, to make sure they understand.
You know what? Sorry, Carolyn. We can just put a watermark in Word, just draft right on an angle, boom, right on every page, and then print it a PDF and put it in the thing. Yeah.
But, again, it's a draft that's going to be worked.
Sure.
It's in progress.
It's a good point.
All right, and that's what I want to get across to people. I just don't want them to
Sure.
think we're doing something. And they don't have anything. Okay, so last week or last month, I'm sorry, we went through Articles 1 and 2. And Faith, you very nicely sent to me.
The excerpt from one with I.
Right.
Yeah, I wrote it.
Yes.
From what you wanted, from what the group wanted.
Right.
Electronic.
Has everybody looked at that and had any thoughts about how good that statement is? I sent it out when I sent out those two.
It's actually, hyphenated on the agenda. So here it is.
That's okay. So we went through, we just, this is the big one, that's why I'm actually drawing my attention to it. Notice of the annual or special meeting shall be made by mailing notices to all persons named in the list. The notice shall be given by mailing a written or printed notice of the time, date, and place where the meeting is to be held, not less than. So we
And
need
I
to,
think every decided.
I know, can we have a date? I think currently, when we talked about that, it was 10 days. Oh, held not less than. But we'll come up with a number we think is reasonable.
You know, I think the other fire district, 7. But we can do whatever we want.
We can do whatever we want. I just want to make sure that people have ample time.
Or is it not less than 7 days, I guess? People agree.
Okay, 7 days and not more than 21 days. Let's use those numbers for now. Because,
And then we'll want to come.
yes. Mailing may be accomplished by electronic mail, U.S. Postal Service, any other service designed to provide actual notice of the person named in the list of voters. I will tell you that I brought up with me to this time, something I get from the Lee County Election Board. And it's a postcard. And it's done in both English and Spanish. And it tells you when election day is. And tells you when the voting locations are open. And then even in this case, gives you your precinct and vote for the applicant. So we could do something like this in the form of a postcard. That would direct them and give them the information they need to know at least that there was a meeting. And so I thought this, that's why I brought this up with you, because I thought it's something we might be able to follow. And we don't have to, I don't think we need to put it in Spanish. So, no, I don't mean that. But I need to have more room on this postcard to give them more information. Okay, we have only one polling unit. Okay, but I just wanted to show you that. I'll hang on.
See you on station.
And I'll read this again.
Good.
Mailing may be accomplished
Because-
by electronic mail or any other service designed to provide actual notice of the person named in the list of voters. Notice shall also be posted on the district's official website and bulletin boards within the district, not less than. So we use the same 7 and 21. And 21. Any notice or agenda of an annual or special meeting may be made by electronic mail sent to the electronic address on file with the district, each qualified voter. The qualified voter is responsible for providing an electronic mailing address to the district. Any qualified voter wants to continue to receive any notice or agenda other than by electronic, must give written notice to, I think probably, I'll take out the moderator, just use the clerk. Don't you think? Notice to the clerk stating that the district wants to receive such materials. How do you think?
I'm good.
About that?
Yeah, sounds good.
That sound logical?
Yeah,
Doesn't
sounds great.
Doesn't sound.
And then if you do have a senior, very senior citizen, who does want to buy mail. So
Absolutely, and I think we could work to have toward that. We're doing that with the class now. You know, we have it posted outside, and I'm trying to bring it to someone who they know doesn't have it, it doesn't use it. If we make as many efforts as we can, actually. All right, then that was additional notice to meetings. We didn't change that at all. And then B, the annual meeting notice shall include. So I think I'm talking about a postcard. Really. But we
You know,
also,
you're going to do a post, I can probably keep it. The one.
Yeah.
page.
this may not work.
Yeah. You might do a little more.
Maybe we do something twice.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. All right, the annual meeting notice shall include the agenda, the budget. Dates of regularly scheduled meetings and slate of declared candidates.
You know, what I would like to see, it's just like, I think it should also, I think should have some meeting right now. And if appropriate, any referendum questions to the people, because it's in our charter, program questions to the people, and I know when I get them for answers, there's a little booklet, questions, there were 4 questions, like,
They will be
referendum,
voting on.
yeah. And I just think,
So
the annual
we
meeting
can
should be before
include-
that, just election.
So we can include in that, any referendum or
Yeah.
questions before to be voted on.
Yes, I think that's how they call it, but in your instance, referendum, before,
So let's call it a referendum, so everybody understands. what
yeah. And you know, some days you may not have one.
Yeah, any referendum to be presented for voting.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Are you, is this going under the B annual meeting
Yes,
notice?
ma'am. It's going under the annual meeting notice shall include.
Okay, because you have number 3 blank, right? On mine. Did you
Yeah,
have,
well, we took out the report of the nominating committee, the report of the tax collector, the report of the treasurer, we lined
Okay.
those out.
Why did we take out treasurer? I know why we took out.
Had a discussion and I think there was I think the reason being that the. I don't know.
what was the question?
I remember the nominating.
Faith,
Yeah.
speak into the microphone a little bit more.
Yes. I'm just having a discussion here. Remember, we took out the nominating, but why wouldn't we want to report it to tax collector and report it to treasurer?
In the note, in the annual meeting notice? I'm not
Yeah.
recalling that.
So Steve, you spoke to the issue of the tax collector, reported the tax collector. So do you recall what that conversation was all about?
No, sorry. I'm not sure.
But in my notes from last month, I wrote out tax collector and treasurer and over here into, so.
Now, my question about newsletter, people may not. I mean, does it hurt to leave it in and just have a discussion? Because it is something that's in there now. The report of the tax collector, the report of the treasurer. What I really would hate to see the annual meeting, simply an election. I think it should be a meaningful event where people look at referendum issues that are up the maybe they hear from the tax collector who collected so much money. this year.
Yeah, I think what you're referring to though is the agenda for the annual meeting.
That would be on the agenda.
Yeah, not the notice going out.
Got it. I see what you're saying.
Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Because I think there is something in here later on, and if there's not, we'll revisit that.
I think you're right. I was looking at it, Jen.
I do believe you're right, but, and we do want the annual meeting to be more than just the election.
Right.
Okay. C was just changing his to there.
Okay.
Got that. We were just trying to, gender neutral. Yeah. Under quorum. We got that.
Chairman.
Oh, yeah, chair, you're right, I didn't do that. Okay. Strike that. For quorum, we just stopped it after present in person, we took out all that. Well,
Yeah.
struck. Okay, the voting at meetings, we're just leaving that to the side. Okay, section 6.
What did you say about that, Carolyn?
Voting, section 5 is voting at meetings, who can vote?
Yeah.
That's just being put aside,
Okay.
okay? Voting list. Now, here, the only thing we did was we decided that it would be approved and certified by the tax collector. Everybody with me on that one? Okay.
Mhm.
Article 2. Section 1, we didn't change. Section 2 is the election and term of office. So in the minutes, I say the discussion begins on the recording 1.06. There was a lot of discussion here. And there was an extensive discussion about what the committee nominated, how many are needed, job description, etc. But if I recall correctly, and after I did these minutes, did we not say that they would be appointed and not elected? Do we want to go that way? I was of the opinion they should be elected. But that, I know, I'm not the only person talking.
I thought the whole idea was people could express an interest in running for president. But we are limited.
Yes, for sure, there's no
Yeah.
nominating per se.
So,
We're gonna call this a nominating / annual meeting committee.
so it's the people who help administer.
Correct. Okay, but that still
Then-
goes.
The notes I have, Carolyn, which aren't many on this, is no more nominating committee. Carolyn will rewrite and add term limits similar to land trust.
And I did do that.
Yeah,
See that?
that's
in-
all I have there. Yeah.
Yeah, when we get to that, I did do that. But I guess my question is, if we determine that we will no longer elect the nominating committee, but they will be appointed, it doesn't belong in this section.
Mm.
You know what, I think it should be called the election,
Okay. You can do
you
that.
know, because
Initially, that was what I thought.
Yeah.
My gosh, it's quite this. So the election committee,
Right, because
And you would have had a special.
well, we did, and when it comes to that, I think we're probably gonna have to find some way to do some job description. Because otherwise you really don't have anything for people to base it on. And if somebody says they wanna be on the election committee, don't you have to tell them what they're doing?
right.
I don't have any thought one way or the other. What about you? It's elected or appointed? Does it matter?
Well, I think the discussion before was we have to get rid of the word nominating altogether.
Yeah, and I think
Doing
we just,
election. And elected by whom?
Right.
Voters?
Appointed.
well, up until now, they've been elected at the annual meeting.
But that was the
subsequent-
nominating committee. So how about we work backwards and come up with a job description of what this election committee is supposed to do, and then it might tell you very clearly that that's something that the council should just appoint rather than be elected. I
Okay,
don't know that their role is going to be that as, and I don't want to say important, but, you know,
well, it's not the same thing, they're not.
Influential.
yeah.
But the
it's-
question
it's
then
not-
becomes, and I think we could go do that, but the question then becomes, where does it belong in the bylaws? If
Right,
it's not elected,
so not in
doesn't
section
belong
2.
here.
That's
that's
right.
like- Yeah.
If it's an appointment, yeah, I agree.
So I think we have to decide whether we'd like to stick with electing the election committee or appointing.
I'm not sure I understand how an election would actually happen.
Well, it would be at the annual meeting, just like we elect the council members and the land trust.
So it's not
Just
just
as we
going,
did before when we elected the nominating committee, there would be an election.
Are we still going to be voting, electing rather the tax roll assessors?
I don't think that we did do that. I don't think that
Yeah.
they're,
But that was another elected official.
yeah, I don't think they're in.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering. I mean, I think I don't know. Do they
Yeah,
have to be
this is-
elected or maybe appointed? I think once you're not dealing with vetting people and deciding on who can run or who you're putting forth as, we're not doing that anymore, right? That's
Right,
not allowed. So again, what is going to be the job description of the election committee?
Well, then I think we need to write, somebody has to help me write a, job description.
What
Yeah.
does anyone know what the towns do? With election committees, they must have.
I don't know, Faith.
I don't think so. My sense would be that the clerk does it.
Yeah.
That it's orchestrated by the clerk, and that the clerk has staff to execute it.
Well, is there policy or process go to, if you want to be on anything, you have to get 200 votes? Is that in the same realm?
Well,
If
you want
to be on-
to run, you have to have 20 signatures,
Something like that. You want to be on this election committee, should you have to get vote for names? I don't know, this is
This is all new.
yeah.
So maybe we do some, research for the next meeting.
I think that's a good
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, I'll look at some other five districts and see.
Why don't we all take a stab at it?
Not just fire district, look at the town.
Yeah.
What's that?
Look at the towns
Oh,
as
yeah.
well.
Really, I guess the clerk would be the head person for the election. But then if it's just an appointed, is it gonna be something or council is doing it like 2 months before the election time? It's elected.
I lost you.
No, you'd have to, if they were elected here before, you'd have a group that was committed to following through. Suppose you needed a special election, you would have this election set up.
Yeah, well, going
Yeah,
forward with
let's
the
look.
next annual meeting, we are gonna need a special meeting to decide on who this committee is going to be. We can't
Yeah,
wait
we're
to an
gonna have
annual
two
meeting.
elections.
So
Good
maybe,
point.
What's that?
We're gonna need to have two elections, or two elections, or two special meetings this year. The first meeting to pass the bylaws and the charter. And then a subsequent meeting to elect new council and anybody else. Am I right?
Yeah,
so the more, as we talk through this, maybe this committee has to be.
That's why, so let's add some color here. Okay, can we do something? Okay. All right, and then I did go back to the so the members of the district shall be elected at the annual meeting, successors to the members of the council whose term shall expire in the year fixed for the annual. I don't know what that's supposed to be. Shall be elected, that must have been what was in there before. I don't know what that should say, does anybody?
sorry, I'm making notes here.
Who shall it's the year fixed for the annual meeting.
Hmm.
Somebody's gonna help me with that. word.
Okay, so we're on section 2, and where is it?
I'm in the middle of the latter part of that paragraph. Members of the district council shall be elected at the annual meeting. Successors to the members of the council whose term shall expire in the year fixed for the annual. Should be here.
Yeah, it should be.
It doesn't say that in this one, in
Hmm.
the printed one, it just says for
For
the
the
annual.
annual shall be elected to hold office for it. Should be. It definitely should say.
Okay, we have to put in a word. Shall be elected to hold office for a term of 3 years. At the expiration, now this is where I picked up from the land trust. Okay. At the expiration of such term, they shall be ineligible for re-election in 1 year. Vacancies shall be appointed by the council to serve the remainder of the unexpired term. chair of council shall serve a maximum of 2 consecutive years. That was put in by someone, I'm not sure. who. Now, I had thought about the expert, that they could only serve 1 3-year term. Does anybody think that we might make it 2 3-year terms? And then they have to take a year off?
2 3-year terms. They-
Yeah, you can only be reelected once. You can be elected the first time, and then
Right.
you can be reelected once.
Yeah.
And then you must take 1 year off before you
Okay.
can run again. That's what I'm suggesting.
Uh-huh.
What do you
Okay.
think about that, Why?
Well, the reason I was thinking is that it's not so easy to find people.
I agree. I was thinking the same thing. Right.
It's not that easy to find people to do it, and a person might be willing to do it 2 consecutive terms of 3 years, but then I think we need a change. Then we need
Yeah.
a term. So,
I think that's something people should discuss, but I know what you mean. Probably good. So, what do you think, Steve?
Well, I'm just thinking of the hodgepodge, like with COVID lately, like we have 2 3-year terms and you take a year off. And now you got like a year there and someone's there already for 3 years, and so then they're gone, 2 years later, like that one person can re-go. I'm just confused about the, you know what I'm saying, how the flow would go. But,
You have 2 consecutive terms or put no limit?
maybe 2 3-year terms and then maybe take 3 years off, just so it syncs with, someone else that's already there. And when they're done with their term,
well, no, because they.
You follow me?
You're off. Then you have another group of individuals who are coming off of a 3-year term.
It's staggered.
They do come off a 3-year term.
4 years from the end of your first term, right? 1 year off and then another 3.
And then you can run again for another 3 years.
So that'd be 4 years from day one, right? But doesn't someone have 1 year already in that second term, a different person?
No,
I'm trying,
you're
Yeah.
thinking about it because of the way things got messed up,
yeah, okay.
but that would not be the norm. We're hoping that that isn't the norm.
Well, if I'm smoking something good and I'm wrong, then I'm good with the 2 3-year terms and stuff, so.
They shall be eligible to be elected.
How are you staggering them, Carol?
Well, they would still always be staggered. They're just able to run only for 1 more term of 3 years. They could do it now. You could have a person running for 3 years. And they could run for 3 years, and then they could run for 3 years, and then they could run for 3 years. They could be on the board, on the council for 12 years.
But we're starting this all fresh and new, so,
Well, we're suggesting at this point
yeah.
that a council member can only be elected for 2, how about this? Can only be elected for 2 consecutive terms.
Which are 3 years each.
Yes.
And then they go on for a year?
They can go off for a year if they like and come back or not come back.
And we
Why
just,
were- I'm sorry,
Yeah, that's.
go ahead, Nancy, you can go
no, go ahead.
first.
No, go ahead.
Why were we doing, what's the history of the 3 and the 2-year terms that we have now currently? Was it just,
Staggering. No. The
Just-
reason you have 3 and 2 now is only because we had to get back in sync.
oh, okay, gotcha, okay.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess
Uh,
I'm questioning, I guess I don't know the answer to this. That's why I'm asking the question. Going forward with the way we have things now, are there, when we have our next election, are we going to, are some of those council members now going to stay? Or are we starting from scratch?
No, right now you have 2 council members who have 1 more year left.
Right, but does that hold up in court? Just to put it,
Well, I
in
don't
other
think
words, is
that's-
that legitimate?
There's nowhere to go for court for this. There's no, body that overrides and overrules or manages fire. It's all according to our bylaws.
So there
Right.
is a-
But just like we haven't been, we have,
I think, your question is. I mean, what is it that you're concerned?
I guess I'm concerned, if we're keeping two people who have 1 year left and we're gonna get this all done within this next year, then there will be a stagger, right? I'm just concerned that wouldn't happen.
What's gonna happen this year is similar to what happened after COVID. 5 people are gonna be up for election. And then it's gonna be determined, and I think we probably have to do that in bylaws, who gets the 3-year term and who gets the 2-year term. We did it with some very convoluted method last time.
Oh, I see, because you have 5, somebody's gonna have 2, so.
Right, okay,
No, in order to get back in sync to the rate.
right. Okay.
All right, I'll rework this and then you all let me know.
So the only change here is just have a term limit, 2 terms.
I think
Yeah.
that's easy.
And a
Yeah.
year off, that's the big
And
thing.
you're wrong. Yeah.
2 terms, I need more than a year.
We can make it 3, Steve.
This, the chair of the council shall serve a maximum of 2 consecutive years.
I could go either way.
I just lost my place, hold on, where are we? Okay,
Last line,
chair of council shall serve a maximum
My
of
only
2.
concern is, we had a council where nobody wants to be chair, and one person at least comes forward. I could go either way.
all right, let's leave it this for now,
Okay.
okay?
Okay.
Okay, this is where we finished last time. Takes a while, doesn't it?
It does.
Okay, section 3. Does anybody here have a question? George, Joni? Nobody out there in Zoom land? I read this and I got it all turned around, so. Maybe we can clean it up and then this is confusing. In addition to the powers and authorities by these bylaws expressly conferred upon them.
You know, that's sort of wordy, huh? Is this what was there?
Oh, yeah, this is all that's there. Can we try to make this more reader friendly?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why you use expression. In addition to the powers and authorities by the- general supervision. The exercise also. This is one more sentence.
We do, I don't like that. We perform.
Yeah, perform.
Okay, this gets really
And
confusing.
things as are not by law. Wow,
Can you?
I don't even know what that means. Shall perform all such lawful acts. Things as. Maybe that means by law.
Well, the bylaws are in it, or by these bylaws.
You know what? I'm gonna take a look at, they're almost behind.
Okay, because this is really.
But this is
convoluted.
really.
All right, so you'll look that up. A, from time to time to adopt such rules, regulations, and ordinances to enable it to fulfill the corporate purposes as are permitted by its charter and to provide such penalties for a breach of said rules, regulations, and ordinances as are fixed by said charter. That to me sounds fine. B, from time to time to provide such penalties as are fixed by the charter for the breach of any provision of these bylaws. So that's not the ordinances or rules.
No,
We think of B.
Well, I think that was the whole thing. I think Bill always was concerned that in our authority to issue penalties.
Well, that's true. It's
And so
important to
that
do.
does.
So let's just leave it.
As a fixed by the child.
Yeah.
Vision of these bylaws. So if somebody, didn't take care of their trash, you would have the ability
Yes,
to issue.
those are under that. Yes, and
Yes, so
actually
we
that
might-
might be under A, so. Okay, to provide, okay. Let's see. To employ, appoint, and remove with or without cause, all employees and agents of the district. And except as herein provided, to fix their compensation. To make, there's a code, somewhere.
yeah,
To make, execute, or authorize to be made and executed all ordinary contracts, purchases, and sales for the account of the district. Provided, however, that the total expenditure to be made under this provision shall not exceed in any one fiscal year the amount of money available for taxes for said year. To authorize and supervise the expenditure and investment of all of its funds, and to authorize the execution and delivery on its behalf of all contracts, deeds, mortgages, leases, transfers, conveyances, and other corporate instruments, whether of a like or different nature.
and another semicolon. Oh, I
Yeah.
guess it's after each one of those, yeah. Yeah, so wordy,
It is wordy.
but
I
does it
don't
say
know.
what you want it to
I
say?
think I just leave it alone.
Yeah, I don't think we need to reinvent every wheel.
Okay, D, to determine from time to time the rate at which taxes shall be assessed by the assessors of taxes of said district, provided, however, that the taxes thus payable in any 1 year shall not exceed 7 mils on each dollar of valuation of property in the district as defined in the chart.
Well, I think, I'm now beginning to realize that some of the sections of.
Oh, Faith,
One
talking to the
sentence.
mic, talking to the mic, Faith, please.
But,
The mic, use your mic.
Oh, is the 7 mils also in the charter? If it's in the charter, this could be just mistaken.
Yeah,
I couldn't look.
So for now, I think we leave it.
And
Yeah.
is that, can we change amounts? Can we propose to change amounts? Like 7 mils pretty high. I mean,
Mills is very,
I
we'll
mean,
never get to 7.
I don't think, and I think if it's in, it would have to be changed.
in the charter.
Yeah, I think so too. It is. Faith. In the charter, it's section 7.
Because
Yeah.
that's, well, I never. For holiday. But that's for another day. We
That's
should
for
be
another day.
following-
Yeah, that, we have to leave
Yeah, I
that
want
one.
to say that we should be following what municipalities are. Okay,
But that's gotta get changed in the
Right.
charter first.
Right.
Okay, meetings and notice thereof.
No, before you get there, do we want to pass off the word assessors in that second?
Oh, where are you?
Second line. I'm looking at the original.
Yeah, I know.
where we just have one assessor.
We only have one tax. Right?
Dale, can you get me another pen? Mine just died.
You know what, I'll put the S in parentheses. Okay.
Perfect, yeah.
So that we can, if it changes. Okay, meetings and notice thereof. A meeting of the district council shall be held as soon as convenient after each annual meeting of the district or if the annual meeting, any clause omitted, and after any special meeting held in lieu of such omitted annual. At said meeting,
I appreciate it.
said council shall organize and elect a chairman and a vice chairman from its membership. Regular meetings of the council may be held at such place either within or without the district, and at such time the district. We need to clean this up. given by the chairman.
Carol, did you have more copies of that, what you're looking at right now, or no?
No.
You just printed it yourself?
I printed
Oh,
it
okay,
myself.
okay, great, thanks.
It's the white, it's the red line version.
Right, yeah, I saw that, yeah, I just didn't print it, okay, thanks.
Meetings and notice thereof. Anybody got some
So
thoughts
that's
there?
interesting. It have things, within or without, oh yeah, it's Jerry.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm not sure. I mean, what's wrong with regular meetings? So at such time, the district council may by vote. What is that?
I don't know. So a meeting has to be held after the annual meeting. Either in or without, within or without of the district. If such annual meeting be for any cause omitted, I don't get that. Then after any special meeting held in lieu of such omitted in,
Meeting the district council.
do we know what that means? It may mean that if you don't have an annual meeting, you still have to have a meeting, special
I
meeting
think, yeah,
to
because-
organize and elect a chairman and vice chairman. So we should have done that last year after we didn't run the election. We
No,
should,
I think it's a special meeting.
yeah, if you don't have an annual meeting, you have to have a special meeting in lieu of to
yes,
take care of things like this.
to take care of such things as the chair and vice chair.
Well, actually, no, if you don't have the annual meeting, you don't have the election, which happened to us. And then we just let everything be the
Well,
same.
but I don't think you were supposed to.
You're supposed to have a special meeting
I think so.
to have the election, actually.
Just to elect a chair and a co?
Correct. That's the
Yeah.
way this reads. I'm not saying it has to be, but I'm saying that's the way this reads.
But the chairman and the vice chairman are elected by the other council.
Correct. Yes.
And if we keep it like that to reelect, then are we kind of contradicting our chair changing every 2 years? Are we,
2 years,
uh,
2 consecutive years.
so should that be consistent with the 2 consecutive years? Like, say if we don't have a meeting, like, and they're in their second year,
Yeah.
we shouldn't say that we change that special meeting because that contradicts 2 consecutive years, right? You know what I mean? Like, should we be in sync with the 2? You follow me?
Yeah, but if we don't have an annual meeting, we're not having an election.
But we're
So
we're
when
just
does-
choosing chairs, I think,
When
Nancy.
does that happen? I know, but you're choosing chairs of the same council that could have been
But it
changed
could have
because of an
changed.
election.
We could have changed the chair and the vice chair.
Right, I agree.
In light of the Clinton decision, the whole, that case that other fire district is up in Gloucester, that case, the court did say just keep status quo. Try to get revision, rewritten, so I think that was the thought process, because that's.
So if we do a status quo, then we should get rid of this elect on a special meeting then, right? The chair and the vice chair? Maybe we should get rid of that and just stick with I don't know. I just want to make sure we're in sync. We don't contradict.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, so this is saying that it's after an annual meeting or a special meeting because the annual meeting was omitted. The council organizes and elects a chair and vice chair. Period. Right, then regular meetings of the district council may be held at such place either within or without the district, and at such time the district given by the chair. At such time, the district given by the, did I just read something?
Such time. Page 6.
Shall recommend regular meetings of in or without such time the district council may vote, may by vote from time to time determine. So something didn't translate from this to this.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm reading it off the book on page
Yeah.
6.
I don't have it.
Clearer than what's on printed, but one thing is supposed to be the same as the other. Meeting that shall be held as soon as convenient at each annual meeting of the district, or such annual meeting, and after any special meeting held in lieu of such a meeting. At said meeting, said council shall organize and elect chairman, vice chair. I'm just taking out the word advance from its membership. Regular meetings of the district council may be held at such place, either within or without the district. And at such time, the district may, by vote, from time to time determine. Go back. Okay.
It's-
Anybody? And this doesn't make any sense, right?
I think we should, reconsider this.
What, Faith?
I think we gotta think about it. I don't, it's very personal.
It is, you know, aren't you
Archaic,
Yes,
archaic language.
And we
If
should,
you want to clean this up so that people could actually read it and understand
right.
and these meetings are too close to our bedtime. I think they should be
it.
like at, like at noontime or something.
Let's put that aside,
Yeah,
tonight. And we're only gonna go 2 more sections.
good. I haven't done this.
Well,
Yeah.
what?
A majority of the whole, this is quorum. Majority of the whole number of the members of the district council holding office for the time being shall constitute a quorum for the transaction of all business. Less than a quorum may adjourn a meeting from time to time. We really need the word from time to time.
No, that's.
Majority of the whole number.
I'm gonna stay on.
May adjourn a meeting.
Why, for the time being,
Hmm?
a majority of the whole. Council holding office. Why do we have?
I don't know.
Shall constitute.
Yeah, we can take for the time. Shall constitute a quorum for the term of office, but less than a quorum may adjourn a meeting.
Yeah.
Period, right?
Yep.
Compensation. Members of the district council will serve without compensation. That stays. Okay, that's all we're gonna do for tonight. Is that okay, with everybody?
Yeah, it's a good idea.
We'll stop there.
So, will you recap for me, guys? Where,
I'm sorry, what?
will you
I'm sorry.
recap? I know that, like, I have section 3 powers. Faith, you thought you needed time to look it over, whatever, and I
Yeah,
trust your legalese on that. Is that what you're going to do? Just that first paragraph
yeah, the first paragraph is.
and under power.
Powers. And then A, B, C, and D we're leaving as is. Correct? Yep. Okay. D, we just made some minor changes here, if I can.
And then section 4, we're all gonna look it over and,
Yeah, we need to look this up, we need to relook at this. Look at the wording.
You know, I think if we look at it back, it's just.
Yeah. And then 5, we just cleaned up a little bit. And 6, we left as is.
Oh, sections, compensation.
Yeah. Okay,
Yep.
I apologize. Supposed to mention last meeting of the month instead of third Thursday.
yeah, you did mention that to me. So in this case, it said, last Thursday of each year, of July. I think that's what it's for. The last Thursday of July in each year.
Is that what we voted on tonight?
Are you back at the
That's
top?
what we decided on. And it can vary, I mean, I think we talked about it, we said didn't want the 4th Thursday, because that could be a problem, right? But I think saying last Thursday, is clean. Yep. And there's not going forward having to figure out what that date is. Right. Is that everybody?
Are
Okay.
you in section 1 annual meeting? Is that what you're talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah,
Okay.
we just did that.
Yeah, I saw, I was gonna bring that up. Okay, so you're saying
The last Thursday of July,
Thursday of July of each year, in each, of each year, in each year.
in each year.
In
Okay, I need the next meeting dates. I can do either Monday or Tuesday. What's your pleasure, of March?
So it's the same date, 13 or 14.
That's true.
Let me just check one thing.
Yes, true.
Either one,
Just let me get this and then,
Carolyn, why don't you just do the 14th? This way it's easier for you, right? 14th and 15th, then you go home. Just a suggestion, you know, if you guys think otherwise.
we can go back to the Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
We can go back to the Tuesday.
So we'll go back to March 14th, the Tuesday, March 14th, 6 p.m. Now, George, you had a question. There's no mic here, George.
Yes. Just want to make 2 comments. Basically. It's not like pulling in a child. We should add that to the child.
Well, you're probably right about that. That though has to be taken up with the council. I don't know. Let me just look at.
I mean, George, I'm not sure if you have it, you got a court decision saying. So it's there,
Yeah,
you know,
So it doesn't say it's child.
we've had a court saying. You know, I'm not sure every town has it. But that's something, we, you know,
yeah, we should look, they should look at it.
but the court has said it, so.
The done deal.
Is there a big difference between quasi and just regular? Because it is a quasi mission.
What is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm saying, so a lot of people posing that. As a result of this action. So.
Steve, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, George is suggesting that there are gonna be a lot of people who lose their vote. I don't think that's true. I think it's gonna go the other way,
Oh,
because you're increasing the franchise by including seasonal and part-time, and people who live here but don't own will be qualified to vote. So I don't think that the franchise will shrink, and we have to follow the court orders.
Okay, and but the franchise, but the new franchise as proposed, including renters and occupiers will do the permanent votes.
if they choose,
I don't
and we're
think
talking
this is
about,
topic
Yeah,
for
and this isn't a topic for us anyway.
right. Oh, I have one more thing when
Hold
George,
on, Nancy, hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
Go ahead, George.
No trust, right?
Trust.
Because there will be people.
properties in trust.
Doesn't matter. You don't vote by property ownership. If you live,
Okay, Carol, let's not get into this.
I know.
We do vote for property ownership in a lot of special districts.
Okay.
I don't want to get through
the
this.
way it's currently being written and revised will not affect anyone who lives in Bath, irregardless of how the property is held. Okay,
Okay, I disagree with that statement, Carolyn, too. Let's move on. A permanent homeowner, a seasonal homeowner who doesn't live here for 60 days, is not registered 30 days before, will be disenfranchised.
That's- And I'm gonna.
it will not affect a trust individual at all.
Can I just interject to George's point? I'd like to answer you, George. What this is going to do is actually allow my husband to now vote. Because he lives here year round, but the house is in my trust. So all these years that we've been here, he's never been able to vote, and now he can. Do you understand?
Yeah.
I can't. What's that?
Yes, yes.
What- And I'll be able to vote, yeah, because I'm a resident, doesn't matter about the deed.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It sounds like you're concerned about homeowners that don't live here or don't live here often as much, you know. I think that's what,
But there's a
George-
clause there.
and I think, you know, assuming things go through the way they're proposed, I think you're correct. I think owners that don't live here will lose their vote.
That's true. Owners who don't live here. It's just.
Ever, at all.
And I'm gonna, can I adjourn the meeting? 'Cause this doesn't.
Okay,
You
can
want
I
me to
just
stop
say
the re-
one more
you want me
thing
to-
about our agenda, guys?
I second the motion.
Okay.
Oh, all right.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I
Nancy.
just wanted to say that the other thing that we're looking at for next time is the whole job description for election committee. I just want to, okay, so if we can all think about that
Yes,
too.
we
And
need to do that.
okay,
Okay,
Thank
I'm gonna
you.
end the Zoom. End the Zoom. We're done.
You can
Like, end the Zoom.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Okay. Carol, I'm just so.